Hello and welcome to the Flourish Podcast. I am Ashley Brogan and I'm here with the ever faithful. You didn't let me say what
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Never mind. He's here.
This girl.
This girl's here. And we are here to talk about Micah.
Yes, we are.
Micah, and what else are we in? Kings. I love this this plan that we're doing because it jumps around a little bit.
It really does.
And I like it because it keeps things interesting. You're like, I don't know where I'm going to be today.
Yeah.
Will I be in Micah? No, I'll be in 2 Kings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of just, you kind of go with the flow.
It keeps it fresh.
It keeps it fresh and interesting. So listen, we're in Micah, which I think he's a minor prophet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just all I need to know in the beginning is that he was around during Hezekiah.
Yes, he was.
And Ahaz.
He's also a contemporary with Isaiah, Amos, and Hosea.
They were all around at the same time.
Wild.
Do you think they had a club? A secret prophet club?
Like they met in a basement.
And they talked about Israel? What's
Maybe
what's the Lord saying to you?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. What's the Lord saying to you? This is what the Lord's saying to me. Funny. He said the same thing to me.
That's interesting. I wonder if they did.
I wonder what the difference is between all of them.
There's probably research and somebody has studied it.
Somebody has. If you have the answer,
please tell us.
Let us know because I haven't looked it up yet. So just starting in Micah chapter 1, I think I really like beautiful poetic verses.
Mm-hmm.
And we have here verse 3. Look, the Lord is coming. He leaves his throne in heaven and tramples the heights of the earth. The mountains melt beneath his feet and flow into the valleys like wax in a fire, like water pouring down a hill.
What version is that?
That's in New Living Translation.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that cool?
Mm-hmm.
I did notice, though, in reading in Micah, that Micah says a few things that to me imply a prophecy of the coming Savior.
Yeah.
This could be one of those things. The Lord is coming and he leaves his throne in heaven.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And tramples the earth.
Yeah.
There's a couple places where I go, oh, is he talking about Jesus? I think it'd be really interesting to do like a whole study on all the prophets who prophesied Jesus's coming.
What are those called? Messianic prophecies?
Yeah.
Sorry, we're yawning back and forth right now.
Listen, it's the week before
and it's really
the fall festival.
We're just gonna apologize.
And I'm tired.
Same.
It's the end of the day that we're recording this. So
we are.
Okay. Do you have anything in Micah chapter 1 that stood out to you?
I highlighted that. I did also highlight the end of Micah chapter 1 where he says, make yourself bald and cut off your hair because of your precious children, enlarge your baldness like an eagle, for they shall go from you into captivity.
What does that mean to you?
I don't know. Other than the baldness stood out to me several times.
Yeah.
The other thing I like about Micah is, yes, it's poetic in nature and he personifies things. Like the Lord, the mountains melt like wax under his feet.
Yeah.
And it's like giving personification to the mountains and they become like wax. And it is really beautiful and poetic.
I want to know, was he seeing things? Like,
yes, that's a great question.
What's the difference in the manner in which these prophets received their prophetic words? Did some of them see visions? Some of them heard a voice? Did some of them have dreams? Like, how is he seeing this? Is he just a poetic person and he just has this like idea of the Lord? Oh, the Lord is coming down from heaven, and I don't know.
Well, it seems
powerful.
Like this guy's pretty emotional too. And maybe all the prophets are, but he talks about, I will wail and howl, I'll go stripped and naked. But it's just like it seems dramatic, but it almost gives an intercessory vibe. Yeah. Like I'm going to feel how the Lord would feel for Israel and Judah. I mean, the chapter is called Mourning for Judah and Israel. It's like prophetic intercession. It reminds me of like, I'm going to have these feelings. Yeah. And weep and wail for you.
They all have different purposes.
Yeah.
Because then I feel like you have the action prophets, right? The ones who like Ezekiel. And
he'll do whatever we tell him.
He does whatever the Lord will tell him. He's like doing in the town town square acting it out kind of.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's kind of like, so then in modern day prophetic culture, do we have differing methods? Do you know what I mean?
We do.
Like, do we have people who do different things? Because like you're a big dreamer.
Yeah, I also think we've pinholed prophets in New Testament days, even now, that they kind of have to be androcentric, loud, bullyish, push over type of people. Like you can't get a word in edgewise. They're going to just kind of like be bulldozers. And I wonder if we've missed out on prophets who aren't those personality types. I think
quiet and meek ones.
Yeah, I think we typecasted people in prophets. And we're seeing here there's many different kinds of prophets.
Yeah.
We hear from the Lord in many different kinds of ways. I think it would be really fascinating to open up that door.
Did Israel recognize him as a prophet during that time?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Was this stuff that he was writing down that was later discovered? Or was this like an active... But I think you're right. I think that we really have like typecast prophets.
100%. And I don't know like what... it's a whole different conversation, but
totally.
I think about Haley Braun likely being a prophet.
Yeah, totally.
She's very different from Chris Valentin.
Oh, totally.
Personality-wise, she's 100% more emotional.
Yeah.
She weeps when she preaches. She preaches with emotion. I would say Chris does too, but I've heard personality-wise, he's a bulldozer.
Yeah.
And I think for a long time, we've kind of said, hey, you're a prophet if you're the one kind of making a stink in the room.
100%.
And I think there's this maybe new revelation of, hey, wait, there's probably different expressions of this.
Yeah.
And I'm just interested. I'm interested what
it shows up in different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't always have to listen to the loudest voice.
Totally.
I think you can usually sense out when somebody's really like delivering a message on behalf of the Lord.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's kind of it can be very different.
I don't know. And there's a whole discussion. Are there prophets today? Are there people that just have a heavier prophetic gifting? Or prophets just called to the church?
Prophetic.
He's highly prophetic.
Got a very prophetic gift.
But he wouldn't call himself Prophet Steve Witt.
He would not call himself
exactly.
Prophet Steve Witt.
So I think there's a whole, but I think it would be worthwhile to take all the prophets we know of, understand who they are, and see what that kind of representation is today. Like, what would that look like today?
That would be really interesting.
Dreams, visions.
Sorry, I wasn't rolling my eyes at you. I was rolling my eyes at yawning for the 10,000th time.
It's okay. I'm trying not to yawn.
I need to breathe. Where were we?
Micah 1.
Sorry.
Should we move to Micah 2?
Okay, Micah 2. I highlighted verse 7.
Okay.
Because should you talk that way, O family of Israel, will the Lord's Spirit have patience with such behavior? If you would do what is right, you would find my words comforting. So, because he kind of prophesies a little like, all the things that are going to happen, right? If you don't turn away.
Sure.
But he's telling people like, if you do what's right, then my words are comforting. And I just thought it's a conundrum kind of like,
yes.
Oh, if you're prophesying doom and gloom, well, it should actually be comforting to you that the Lord's going to do this.
Sure.
Because you're doing what's right.
He's going to. This is a theme I think we're going to see even when we get into Kings, when we talk about Hezekiah and then Josiah. It's something that came up that I kept thinking about was doing right and doing justly. Wasn't that one of our verses for the church at some point? And walk humbly with your God.
It's one of my kids' favorite verses.
Yeah, no, I feel like at some point
it was.
Like
I don't remember.
But all that to say, I want to come back to this when we get to Hezekiah and Josiah, because I have so many questions about the law of the Lord and what that looks like now. But I think this is a theme we see in Micah.
Yeah.
I think we get into a little Hosea.
Yeah.
But it's this, if you do right and walk with the Lord, it'll be good with you.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, I can't wait to get to it. I don't want to jump ahead. If you stay on the
straight and narrow path and you're doing what's right, then you don't have to worry as much.
Right.
I just think it is like a conundrum kind of like, but if you walk on the straight and narrow path and you're doing what is right, we should get into it with these, because I also have been thinking a lot about wisdom. Like I thought about how it would be cool to write on a wall wisdom.
Yeah.
But then all the things that the Bible says about wisdom. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like wisdom is this. Wisdom is making the right choices. Wisdom is doing, and I think it goes hand in hand with doing right.
Doing right, because back then they had so many laws to do what is right. we'll get into it when we get into Josiah, because I have so many things to say.
So he in chapter 2 he gets into like what he's prophesying. You don't like what I'm prophesying, and he says this verse that I thought it stood out to me was verse 11. Suppose a prophet full of lies would say to you, "I'll preach to you the joys of wine and alcohol." That's just the kind of prophet you would like. I don't know. I just thought that was funny.
It's
like it's just calling you out. Like also the fact that he can call somebody full of lies a prophet.
Right. That's why they say test the prophets, right?
Right. So he says a prophet would preach to you the joys of wine and alcohol, and you guys would love that. But if you do what's right, you're going to love what I have to say.
And you'd recognize it.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know. That's just that.
fascinating.
Yep. What do you think about chapter 2? Do you have anything? Nothing in chapter 2. Well, over in Micah 3, I'm just like, it must have been hard to be a prophet.
I know.
I feel like prophets were kind of like the odd men out. They were either loved or they were not loved.
Right.
You know, because they always speak kind of harsh things, you know, like, have you ever had a prophetic word that you've received that you've been like,
like I don't love that
word.
That's not really what I'm
like
seeing.
How many prophetic words have I received about
for
preaching?
my life?
And every single one I go, I did receive one time. I received a prophetic word from good old Bob Jones, prophet from back in the day, where he pointed his finger at me and said, "You're called to counsel." And I remember going, "Am I?"
I don't love that.
I'm sure you hear from the Lord, but in this moment.
I'm going to go test that
I'll test
wise counsel.
Thanks for that. But I feel like he's just always saying, like, I'm filled with power of the straight. I'm boldly declaring, you need to listen to me. You hate justice. Like, he's just, I think he must have had a hard time where they must have been heckling him. I don't know. What do you think?
What do I think? I think so, too. I think it's probably not easy to be a prophet. And you're always telling people, I don't know, what they should be doing, how to do it better, what they're doing wrong, talking of things that aren't as if they were. And people are going, I don't know. It's probably easier to just continue what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And whatever. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have so much highlighted, but I'm like reading through it going, I don't remember what stood out to me.
I know. I'm doing that too. I don't have anything till Micah 6, if I'm being honest.
Sometimes I have a harder time with the minor prophets. Now in Micah 4, I did highlight the "Come, let us go up to the mountain."
Come, let us go to the mountain.
Yeah, to the house of Jacob's God. There he'll teach us the ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the Lord's teaching will go out from Zion; his word will go out from Jerusalem. Which is interesting. That feels like a prophetic word too, because when you think about, obviously it's a prophetic word because he's a prophet, but when it says the Lord's teachings will go out from Zion, his word will go out from Jerusalem, that reminds me of, it makes me think of the apostles in Acts.
Oh, yeah.
Going out from Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And spreading the gospel. It just is like one of those things. Like, it's almost like prophetic words can sometimes apply now, but also they can be like a double meaning.
Sure.
You know, like, and it can go out and into your future, but maybe it could also apply now. How do you know when a prophetic word has like been fulfilled in your life?
How do you know when you're supposed to partner with it?
How do you know? I have so many questions.
Yeah.
Because you and I have been talking a lot about prophetic words, and I had this revelation recently, which I'm sure is like a no-duh for most people, where I realized that your season of life can greatly impact how you interpret a prophetic word.
That's true.
And I could be experiencing, let's just say I'm experiencing heartbreak in my life.
Sure.
And I get a prophetic word about the joy of the Lord or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I will interpret everything through the lens of what I'm experiencing in my life.
Sure.
And sometimes that's not that. It means something else. And it made me realize that like the Pharisees did it, right?
Totally.
They all interpreted what they thought the messianic prophecies were,
right? And
they interpreted it as Jesus was going to come back, or not Jesus specifically, but that the Messiah was going to come, and he was going to come to dismantle Rome
Yeah.
and the oppression. And like, we need him to come because this is what he's going to do. So he's going to come back as a glorious king,
Sure.
ready to overthrow the government. And Jesus did not show up that way.
Totally.
And I think that's what ruffled a lot of feathers, and people weren't sure it was him
This
because
wasn't what I expected.
it's not how I interpret it, but they were interpreting it based off of the oppression of Rome that they were experiencing in that time. So then I go, do we do this in our own lives?
100%.
Do we how do we then navigate properly applying or interpreting a prophetic word in your life?
Yeah. I don't know the correct answer, but I think it's very true to have good people in your life, good, wise counsel.
Yep.
Hey, I got this word. Sometimes I think, at least for me this last year, I've gotten 3 specific prophetic words, and I felt the Lord say, you can let these drop on the ground or you can partner with me. And I've had to really pursue a prophetic word and 3 prophetic words that I've gotten. And it's for the first time in my life where I look back over the last 15 years and I go, how many prophetic words fell on fallow ground because I didn't pursue, walk, understand, and pursue this in my own life?
100%.
Like, I think about some words that I've gotten, I'm like, oh, this just never happened. And this year, I'm realizing I may have not stewarded them very well in my life. Like, I can think of a few where you go, oh, that didn't happen. That didn't quite work out the way I thought it was. But this year particularly, I've gone, I don't understand what that word means, but I'm going to ask the Lord. I'm going to find it. I'm going to research it. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to try to understand it. And I'm seeing that prophetic word 6 months later and exactly what it means. And I just think I grieve over the younger Ashley who just didn't. Like,
totally.
you know, like there were words, but I think you can easily not partner with a word where you can hear something that you maybe you don't necessarily disagree with it, but you hear it and you go, well, I know exactly what that means.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to let it, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you would love to hear a prophet say, drink a lot of wine. I think we can do that. Not saying the prophet is wrong, but the word may be applied incorrectly where you go, now I'm free to drink wine. Yeah. I'm free to keep doing what I'm doing.
Wait, that's not what the Lord was saying.
But in fact, maybe the Lord was saying, no, I'm not asking you to run away. I'm asking you to stay. Yeah. And that's where your joy would be found. And I think, I don't know.
100%.
I think there's like a partnership. You have to steward the word or really bring it to people if you're confused.
I think bringing it to people too is really important, you know, because I do think you can interpret things like through your own lens, through what you're experiencing, through everything. Yeah. Like something happened recently where someone got a prophetic word and I heard it and I went, oh, they're going to apply it to their circumstance, but I don't think that's what it means. Sometimes it could mean the opposite of what you're interpreting. It's just
1,000%.
wild. It's like, but I guess that's just like part of the process of like sorting it through. You have to use discernment. You have to weigh it with scripture. You have, you know, like, I think too, maybe there's a way where you have to remove yourself from what you're going through to be able to, you know, like, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe
I don't know.
Pray about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how often I've prayed about prophetic words until this year. Yeah. Something happened when Paul Manwaring came. He talked about it. He talked, and I went, the lights went off in my brain and I went, I've never done that. I've never taken him to the Lord and say, what do you think about this? Yes. We just often, I think, make assumptions. Yeah.
I think that I don't do that as well. I think my one word I got from Haley Braun. Yeah. When was it? Two years ago or something like that. When she came to our staff. We had a Holy Spirit night she was going to do, and it got canceled because of snow. Yeah. But we still came as a staff, and those who were here, she spent 2 hours, I'd say, going from person to person and just prophesying. And you know that feeling, like, I think we put so much stock on prophetic words, like, I'm discouraged. Yeah. I need a prophetic word. Sure. And then you sit there in a meeting and you're like, call me out. You're like trying to will the prophet on the stage to prophesy over you, you know, like, I remember doing that when I was a kid. Not that I wanted a prophetic word, but I remember sitting at a conference. Do you remember Steve Thompson? We've talked about him before, but he used to travel around and he was an itinerant minister. And he came and I sat there going, don't call on me. Don't call on me. And then he pointed at me and said, Ashley, I want you to stand up and prophesy. And I went, like, no, don't call on me. But sometimes we will them to call on us so that we can get prophesied over. Yeah. And when Haley Braun was here, I was like, I didn't care if I got a word or not. Yeah. And then she called me out and it like, I think this was the first word that I understood what partnership with it meant.
Yeah.
You know, like she read my mail.
Yeah.
and I just wept and wept and wept. And I don't think I've ever cried so hard in my life.
Yeah.
And it was just, that was an instance though, where it spoke to my moment.
Yeah.
And she spoke things about thoughts I was having that like I'd never, verbalized before. So it was like, so you can tell the difference too, right? Between something that's like in the moment, this
something
is
that's for
that
your
moment.
future.
Right. Versus something that's kind of more like grand scheme, if that makes sense.
Totally.
Like that word in that moment was me, like pulling
she
me
almost
out of
was a heart revealer. Like
it
what
really
was revealing what was in your heart. I wonder if sometimes words, like I can think of one of the words I got this year, it was like a treasure. Because I have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
I had to look it up in the Bible. I had to research it. And it's been like a year of just unpacking it and then seeing it happen in my life where instances I'm going, I wouldn't have noticed that this word was coming true had I not done the research and dug up the treasure in the ground and gone, oh, how cool that the Lord would talk about this. And that was a future thing.
Yep.
When we're so often like waiting for the Lord to be like, you're so amazing, you know, like I think there's just different words. There's different words. And I think there's different partners or like activations. Like you have to search it out sometimes where I don't know. There's like a ton of different types of prophetic.
It really is. It's fascinating. I love that we live in a prophetic culture.
Yeah.
We've talked recently about how hard it can be to live in a prophetic culture.
100%.
You just can't get away with a lot of things.
And that's 100% true.
Because then you just go, hey, what's going on with that? And you go, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how many times has that happened? And you've had that happen too, where people have said, hey, why don't you tell everyone about the dream you had last night? And you're like,
why?
What? Why are you calling me out?
Why?
Why are you calling me out? How did you know I had a dream last night?
That's true. I did forget about that. That was Steve Thompson.
Steve Thompson.
Those are the those prophetic people scare me. Bob Jones was like that.
I just think he really was.
He was terrifying.
It's terrifying. I was scared to walk into a room with him, and I know the gift. I just remember I was like walking down the hall. I was looking for my dad. And I went into the conference room to see if he was there, but Bob Jones was sitting by himself. And I just, you should have seen me. I stood there and I went, oh, hey, yeah, sorry. And I walked backwards to leave the room. Like I was like moonwalking out of there. And that's when he looked at me and said, you're called to counsel. And I just went,
thank you.
Okay. Like, what do you say? What do you say when that happens? I don't know. But it's like he would get this look in his eye, look at you like, you know,
through you.
And you're like, do I have sin in my life? Are you
100%.
seeing it right now? Like,
well, there was a rumor in ministry school that if you dreamt about Bob Jones, he also had the dream. And I did believe it. Like, I thought they were trolling us, like the older kids. And one of my friends, well, I think she was actually a leader. She was walking by Bob Jones and he looked at her and goes, hey, saw you in your dream last night. Tells her the dream in front of me. And I start laughing. And he goes, what are you laughing at? But it was crazy.
That's wild.
It freaked me out, and I went, like, that's a different level of prophetic. Like, I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. That's next level.
Yeah,
that would freak me out. Listen. The prophetic has been around for my whole life.
Totally.
And I've been trained in every which direction and all the things. And I've been semi-retired from. We've talked about that, about prophesying.
Totally.
But there are these moments where you do, and I'll speak out and say something, and then I go, oh, well, where did that come from?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's really important. You can learn a lot from these prophets about boldness, about shedding the fear of man.
Yeah.
Especially when we talk about Ezekiel was it Ezekiel?
Yeah.
Laying naked on his side for 360 5 days.
Totally.
And eating food that was cooked on feces. Like,
it's disgusting.
But I'm not saying we have to do that.
Right.
Praise the Lord. But we can learn something about them, about boldness.
Yeah.
I think also being sold out.
Yeah.
Like they had faith.
Totally.
And that is so powerful.
Faith, yeah.
And I think if anything, even if you read this and you go, well, none of these prophetic words apply to me, so what's the point in reading it?
Yeah.
You can learn a lot about the character of prophets.
Totally.
Right? Like they even had the weeping prophet.
Sure.
Which was
They all seem to be
Jeremiah.
determining the time too.
Yes.
Like they're all speaking. And I think we see that now where people will say, hey, this is actually what the season I think we've moved into.
Yeah.
Right? Where they come in and you go, oh,
Yeah.
that's why it feels like this.
Yeah.
Because prophetically we've moved into a new season. And
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating.
It is fascinating. We could talk about it for days and days. Do you have any? So you had stuff in 6 that you wanted to talk about.
It was just the,
Wait, before we get to 6, one thing real quick. Micah 5, this is where I feel like is a messianic prophecy, but I could be wrong, right? And he will stand and lead his flock with the Lord's strength in the majesty of the name of the Lord his God. Then his people will live there undisturbed and he will be highly honored around the world. I read that and I went, and then it ends with, and he will be a source of peace.
wow.
I just thought, I think he was prophesying about Jesus, but did he know that that's what he was doing? Like, do you know what I mean? When these men prophesied of the coming Messiah that would have peace, that would rule, that would come in strength and in the majesty of the name of the Lord, was he seeing Jesus? Was he understanding? Well, let's skip ahead because we're running short on time. And we'll skip ahead to 2 Chronicles 34.
Okay.
We had to take a long pause. And I'm just going to say, we took a long pause for a second because as we were recording this, we discovered that Charlie Kirk had passed away and we needed to have a minute because we feel very sad about it.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's horrible and it's awful, but
it is interesting. We're talking about prophets being brave and speaking out. I would say Charlie Kirk is someone who did that.
Yeah, 100%.
He's definitely someone who was on the cusp of.
He was brave. He spoke out about his faith. He stood in the gap for a lot of us that don't have a voice to speak out. And, well, that's so sad. Anyways, so we'll put that over here for a minute and we'll finish the podcast. So let's go to 2 Chronicles 34 and we can talk about King Josiah, who we love. Mm-hmm. King Josiah is amazing. He was I think the youngest king.
Yep.
He became king when he was 8 years old. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine? Could you imagine having a president
like
that was 8?
That's Wesley.
It's Wesley and Maxwell.
Wild.
Could you imagine them?
No, I cannot. Absolutely cannot.
What does that say about us? Because this mother was like,
I don't think she had a choice.
That's true. Okay, what do you have to say about it?
Okay, here's what I think is fascinating about Josiah. Back to Hezekiah. He's the guy that returned and restored the temple.
Yep.
Destroyed all the altars.
Yeah.
Cleansed the thing.
Yep.
We were like, wow, he did differently than his father. And then his son, Manasseh,
failed, but turned at the end of his life.
Fails and then turns at the end of his life. And we constantly have this question of why are they not continuing what their father
generation to generation
did? And it's always like Josiah comes along and restores it. And he does so by doing what they always do. They tear down the altars. They
tear down the Asherah poles.
All of these things.
Yeah.
Anyways, what I find really fascinating is during Josiah's reign, they find the book of the law, right?
Yep. Oh,
and
I love this part.
I just think I don't intelligently have all of the information other than they find the book of the law and restore law and order, essentially.
Yep. How long had it been missing?
How long had it been missing? It seems like the priests had found it in some hidden closet. I don't know. The priests find it. They bring it to Josiah, and Josiah is like, oh my gosh, this must be what we need to do. And then there's all these things that he does. And at some point, they go to Huldah, the prophetess.
Yes. Shout out to the women prophets.
To Huldah. Anyways, there's all these things that happen. And the thing that stood out to me is that he restores true worship because he restores the law first. Mm-hmm. And I keep thinking about not just our modern day application of it, but there were these laws, the 10 Commandments. There were enormous amount of laws for Israelites to remain pure, to remain walking with the Lord. And then Jesus comes and he's apparently the one that fulfills the law. Mm-hmm. But this still applies to us today. Mm-hmm. And I just started deeply thinking about, it can't just be wisdom. There has to be simple principles that we're supposed to be living our life by that are not the 10. We follow the 10 Commandments in some right, but we don't follow everything the Israelites used to do. We don't have to. And so I started to think today, if Jesus came and he fulfilled the law, what are the most important laws that we should be walking rightly in, doing justly, acting with mercy, and living humbly with our God? Because I think it's clear they found a book and they made all these changes and whatnot. But I just started thinking, what does that look like today? Like,
That's true.
I just want more clarity around what does it look like? Because I want it to be well with me, and I want to leave those principles for my children so they're not looking for it.
Yeah, and I mean, when he was here and he talked, Jesus, I don't know all of it because I need to like deeply study it. But when when he's questioned about which law is the great, or which commandment is the greatest, and he talks about, loving God and loving others.
I'm sorry, Jay's looking through the window and he's making eyes.
This podcast is never going to end.
He's just smiling in the window.
Hi, Jay.
He's ready to go home, I think.
He's ready. But he talks about loving God and loving people. And when I talk to my dad about it, it's like those two encompass all of it.
And all of it.
Do you know what I mean? Like those two things, to me, that blows my mind. I don't know why I've never thought of it like that before.
No, it's brilliant because essentially what we hear over and over and over and over and over again is follow the law of the Lord.
Yeah.
Live and you'll do well.
Yeah.
You'll end with peace.
Yeah.
And I want to end in peace in my life. And I sometimes think we're overcomplicating it.
Yeah.
Like we don't have a million laws anymore, but there are some simple things that I want to make sure my life is aligned with. Because even though Jesus came and fulfilled the law,
totally,
I want to understand it in the New Testament.
100%.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
Like, 10 Commandments are great. Obviously, we still value those and we live by those.
Some people don't. Recent comments on it.
Do not.
Someone recently in the media somewhere said it's kind of a silly list of laws. And we're like, not committing murder for sure. That's funny.
Crazy.
That's wild. We should do away with that. Right?
Do with it. But what are the laws that we live by today?
Yeah.
Like I want to know in the New Testament, like I know them, I've read them, I have them, but I read this and I go, I want to be a Josiah that comes in and I'm going, even if my parents didn't do this correctly or perfectly or don't do it correctly now, I want to do this right. And what does it look like to tear down the Asherah poles?
100%.
Where does it look like to just be, I don't want to be passive. I don't want to sit down and wait for it to happen. I want to go and burn it to the ground.
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with it in my life. And where do I have altars resurrected,
Yeah, I think too, like, don't you want it at the end of your life for the Lord to say they did what was right in the sight of the Lord?
Yes.
Right? Like, when you read this, it was like, and then they did evil, what was in the sight of the Lord. And then he did what was right. And it's always the ones who did what was right in the sight of the Lord and end well are the ones who tore down everything. Right. Right. Because you have some kings who come along and they tear down the Asherah poles, but they leave the pagan shrines of blah, blah, blah. And then it's ultimately their demise and destruction.
Yes.
And so I do think we have to take a daily stock. Like, what are the Asherah poles?
Right. And I think sometimes we think they're these large things like TV and music or I don't know, but I'm starting to wonder if they're more the unseen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Thoughts?
My thoughts. How I interact with people. We were just talking about a situation where we're going, there's a way I really want to respond to this, but I'm going to have to actively choose to respond in an honoring, loving, and kind way. And I'm starting to just realize the older I get, I'm going, I wonder if this counts way more to the Lord than even the Netflix and those all still matter. But I think he is, it's that thing where he examines the heart. Even in the Old Testament,
that not everyone sees. It's like the daily choices of like you sit there and you go, in this situation, I told you the other day, I said, I don't want to be the bigger person.
No, sometimes it's tiring.
I just am really tired sometimes of being the bigger person.
Yes.
But it's like, I can't not respond that way. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like I think my conscience, my love for the Lord, it's like I'm conscious of how I represent him in all
100%
in all areas, and I don't always do it well.
Me either.
Right? Like,
yes.
I'm not.
I just called you the other day about a forgiveness situation where you go, you forgive this person over and over. You forgive to an extent where you're like, I don't think I can give any more forgiveness. It doesn't mean it's going to change that person.
No.
ever. Like, just
No.
because you forgive someone doesn't mean they're never going to come and hurt you again.
Yeah.
That's actually just your job to forgive.
Forgiveness is just your thing. That's
It's
what you're
your
responsible
thing to
for.
extend. And I think too, it doesn't always mean it's going to be easy.
Yeah. Do you know what always kind of gives me the comfort in the moments when you feel like those ways? Because you and I this is conversation Ashley and I have actively had recently about forgiveness, about being the bigger person, about letting things go.
Right.
And I always think like, I don't want to keep being the bigger person.
Yes.
I don't want to keep forgiving. Like, it's exhausting and I'm
Haven't I
tired of
given
it.
you enough?
Yes, I'm so tired. But then I always have this like little aha light switch that goes on that like, wow, what the Lord must have experienced with all of us, all of the Israelites, all since the dawn of time, that he's had to, this is what he means by forgive them 70 times 7.
100%.
Right?
And it might feel like suffering.
It might.
It might actually feel like suffering.
Yep. And it might be exhausting, but the Lord and the end result of like following the Lord, the end game, if you will, is it will always be worth it.
Consider it all joy.
Consider it all
present
joy.
Sufferings.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we set people up for failure in the church when it comes to this stuff by living your life of the law. The law is probably to die daily.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, you've died about 20 times to yourself.
Yep.
And I think if it does feel like death sometimes in those moments of choosing to forgive, choosing to be the bigger person, I don't think it means you're doing anything wrong. You know,
I don't think it also means that you let people walk all over you.
No.
It's like boundaries are okay. Right. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to like have those things.
Yeah.
But I think in the end, it's like, you're right. I can forgive somebody over and over again, but my forgiveness doesn't equal them changing who they are. So I have to choose to keep loving them anyways, because that's what the Lord has called us to do. That's what you do when you have relationships and people you're connected to. And it's like, but it's so challenging. It can be so challenging. But it's like, those are the thoughts I think that really do matter. That matters.
And when we see it in,
because he's the one who sees them all.
He's the one that sees it all. And it shows us why, even in the Old Testament, he cares about someone's heart rather than their outward expressions. Right? Sometimes a king can fail. And in the last moment of their life, as long as their heart was turned right, he calls them good and faithful servant.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's not a standard, but I'm just saying, you see the Lord begin to really care about what's going on in the heart.
Really a lot more about that. What do we do with that, Ashley? What do we do?
We pray and we ask the Lord, where have we built altars in our heart? And I think you just start to embrace it. I think that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. I don't want to be an offended person. You know, I'm trying to when I feel offense, run into it. Why am I offended? Why did that
Figure
offend
it
me?
out. I don't want to
emotional.
I always say I don't want offense to get a hold of me, right? Because I feel like it can just poison the well. If I let it live and fester in my life, it's gonna, my dad is, I've always joked with him, but I'm also serious. He needs to write a book about forgiveness.
The master of all.
He is, wow. He has an incredible, it's almost a gift.
Yes.
To be able to forgive. But it has been a hard fought gift to have, right? Yes. He had people where he had to pray. He tells the story from the pulpit, but that he had to pray every day for years. Yeah. Please, bless them, Lord, bless them. Do you know how hard that is when someone's betrayed you, when someone's hurt you and taken things from you that were yours, or it's hard, but it's this, it's worth forgiveness. I think is really a huge thing that affects your heart and your posture of your heart quickly. That could be an Asherah pole in your life, totally, or a shrine or something that you don't realize that you're giving all of your attention with unforgiveness, totally. And really just forgiving them and letting them go will be the simple act of tearing down that Asherah pole in your life.
110%.
So get out
the Asherah poles.
And forgive people, y'all.
70 times 7.
But yeah, that was so good. I can't wait to get into this. It's nice to be back. Nice to be back talking about these things. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.